He is so handsome. Hello Aromas, this is Aromie here. Welcome back to Red Embrace Hollywood. I just want to give you guys a heads up that I recorded at least 3 episodes, but they all went to complete garbage because either my webcam was freezing or the gameplay was actually frozen. And the only thing that was perfect was the audio. So if I don't react as surprised, it's because I already kind of witnessed everything. Just another little rumble of thunder echoed around us, and the next moment something wet landed on my head. Oh, I don't know what options I picked either, because I'm pretty sure it's going to show that I technically already picked it. Droplets began to slowly fall by our feet, increasing one by one as they darkened the sidewalk. What remarkable timing! Markus tilted his head, peering up at the sky. Something up there certainly has a sense of humor, wouldn't you agree? And, okay, so it did show that I did already choose certain options, so I'm just gonna keep picking those options, because that's what happened. Those were choices I picked. I'm not complaining, I love the rain. Let's go wait for it to blow over, or we could use your coat for an umbrella, which I would never ever even dare to ask to use for his coat as an umbrella, because that coat looks pretty fancy. I'm not complaining, I love the rain. My, what excellent taste, so do I. his smirk or whatever is going on right here is kind of silly looking. However, my hair gets frizzy, something terrible out in the rain, and I'm not of a mind to spend 3 hours combing it out tonight, which is really insane. 3 hours to comb your hair out? No thank you. As the rain began to pour down in earnest, Markus sauntered over to the nearby bus stop, ducking under its tiny roof. Without hesitation, he lowered himself onto the filthy, decrepit bench and languidly stretched out. Sit down beside him. There was a little space that Markus wasn't taking up, although like a cat, he apparently felt entitled to most of it. I sat down in the empty spot, feeling the touch of icy metal seeping through my clothes. More thunder gently growled in the distance. As personally for me, I do not like thunder. I still find it very scary just because it's such a loud sound. We watched as the streets become steadily drenched, puddles splashing up whenever the occasional car rolled by. Some of the rain had fallen on Markus before he got into shelter, though he didn't bother to wipe the droplets running down his face. A few wet strands of hair clung to his pallid cheeks, making them look like jet black veins or cracks on porcelain. The description is so beautiful. It's beautifully written. Just think. If we hadn't encountered that little lost boy, we'd have already arrived the place I wish to take you. Despite his remark, Markus sounded more amused than annoyed, drumming his fingers slightly on his thigh. And now here we are, waiting for a bus that will never arrive. Thank you, Heath. You don't like Heath very much, do you? Or where were you planning to take me? Oh, just a rooftop, a place full of both the past and the future. He casually waved one hand, flashing me an enigmatic smirk. A spot for a would-be martyrdom, a fiery middle finger, and a fantastic place to watch movie shoots. I think you would have liked it. A rooftop, it has some kind of significance for our personal journey? Was that really where you were going to take us, or are you teasing me? I really feel like he honestly did plan to take us there. It sounds like the place that Randall took us. Everything in life has significance, all of it intentional. Only oftentimes you don't understand your own intentions until much later. Pulling off his slightly wet glasses, he is so handsome! I honestly never thought to think of Markus. What would Markus look like without his sunglasses? Because I was just so used to it and I felt like it was glued to him. So them showing him without his glasses, look how handsome he looks. So handsome. Markus began wiping them with the hem of his shirt. The glow of his eyes cast a faint pale blue sheen over his cheeks, cold and ghostly. God, Please don't look at me. While we're stuck here, allow me to touch on a certain subject lingering in my mind. He turned his head, glancing at me where I sat beside him. As close as we were, his unblinking stare felt much more alien and intense. As you may have gathered for yourself, I am not overfond of clarifying my intentions. However, there is one thing I feel the need to address. During your first and also fateful night, you will recall I instructed you to not trust a single soul. Of course, you just told Heath outright that you trusted me, so I gather my advice didn't quite sink in. I honestly do not remember telling Heath that I trust Markus, but what if I was lying saying that to Heath? But do you truly trust me? Yes, I can't help it. I think I have. Yes, no, I don't. I only trust myself. So past me decided to choose I only trust myself because I don't want him to think that I do trust him, because I don't want him to be upset that I didn't listen to him. Really now? And obviously he does not believe me because of his devilish smirk right there. I admire your fortitude then, as long as you hold fast to such independence. I am definitely not going to hold that independence soon. Pausing for a moment, he tapped his foot lightly against the pavement. Love's person thought, let me approach this a little differently. Why do you think I have agreed to mentor, or shall we say, accompany you? God, you're so handsome. You thought I'd be interesting because you like me. You have a reason you're keeping secret. I have absolutely no idea. So I chose, you have a reason you're keeping secret. Oh, something dark and dramatic perhaps. The idea seemed to tickle Markus, who immediately broke into a cruel grin. That is very scary. Like guilt or personal redemption, or maybe you think I feel responsible for you somehow, which I honestly don't think you should feel responsible for me. You are not the one that bit me. Why, that would be just downright uncreative of me. He clicked his tongue disapprovingly, as if I'd offended its taste. Indeed, my true reasons are. Markus paused, peering across the street with a raised brow. I don't like how we're always getting interrupted when the topic is getting juicy. A select group was hurrying past us, one of them holding a limp woman in his arms. From their sense, I could tell they were vampires, and from the blood on their clothes, they probably just come from a fight. I recognized one of them, the same man from the parking garage. When he glanced towards Markus and me, he froze in place for a moment. Then, to my surprise, he stuck his hand up and waved. We waved back, stare, or, I waved back. Raising hand, I offered him a wave back. He kept watching us as he walked, or at least seemed to be watching us. When I looked at him more closely, though, I realized his gaze was fixed on Markus. You know him, Markus? What's up with them, I wonder? I feel so awkward because it seems like the kind of situation where like you think someone's waving at you, but they're not waving at you, they're waving at somebody else. But you awkwardly wave back anyway. You know him, Markus? I imagine so. I do have some admirers, one might say. Markus, however, seemed more interested in the rest of the group. His eyes followed them down the street until finally it disappeared into a back alley. Well, returning to my monologue, he cleared his throat, finally returning his gaze to me. My true reasons for taking you as my companion are, well, they're quite selfish, really. Yet at the same time, they may inadvertently benefit many others. I seek answers for myself, answers about my own true purpose and that of the world. For every problem I set before you, I too am wondering, searching, turning over stones in both the world and in my heart. So you're learning from me and vice versa. What answers could you possibly get just from watching me? I still don't understand what makes me special. Honestly, I feel like technically we're learning from each other in a way. I suppose you might say such a thing, though not in any traditional sense. I see it as more of an awakening, or maybe an exhuming of our true natures. Falling briefly silent, he traced his tongue along one fang, probably deciding how best to phrase what he wanted to say. You need to dumb it down like 10 times for me. I see in you the potential for something great, for a life beyond just draining the veins of humankind. That potential might never be realized, but it is there. And such a potential may not only save me, but all of us, yourself included. Kind of potential? It sounds like the start of a superhero comic, or I think you might be overestimating me, Markus. I chose to be silly and say this sounds like the start of a superhero comic. It rather does, doesn't it? But maybe that isn't such a bad thing. We are in dire need of heroes. A gentle rumble of thunder further away now punctuated Marcus's words. I brought up trust because I fear you might mistake me for someone selfless or altruistic, when in reality I'm only acting in my own best interest. So he's, again, just doing it for himself. And it just appears to be helping me along the way. I am not here to make you feel better about yourself, nor about the clownish world that surrounds us. He gazed somberly into my eyes, with a wan, resigned smile tugging at his lips. I want to help you, not hinder you. I want to weigh down your spirit with questions and doubts, to awaken that potential, not throw a blanket over its head. That comforting blanket of simple good and evil, of happy endings, a blanket made from your own cheered wool. If that's what you hoped for, I might redirect you to a library of Disney movies, or hand you a Sunday school pamphlet instead. Well, I mean, I wouldn't mind going to a library of Disney movies, so let's go on. I don't think I really understand what you mean. I believe in right and wrong. You won't change my mind about that. I have an open mind. I can deal with whatever you throw at me. I decided to choose I have an open mind because I'm a pretty optimistic person at times. Because like even when I'm depressed, I still try to think of like the positives that I can do to get out of depression and all that. That's dangerous talk, sister, for I have many things to throw, but a curious spirit may have arms big enough to hold them all. Marcus's voice was surprisingly gentle, maybe the softest I'd ever heard it. That's cute. His eyes stayed on mine for several moments more, but eventually they strayed towards the wet asphalt. While we were talking, the rain had gradually slowed to a soft drizzle. A few puddles had formed on the sidewalk, glowing as they reflected the streetlights. Perhaps it's time to leave our sanctuary. With a lengthy sigh, Marcus rose to his feet, slipping his sunglasses back on. Then he cleared his throat with an air of finality, as if the subject of my potential was being shelved for now. Though I would never have intentionally timed our encounter to match the storm, I would say it conveniently allowed me to trap you in an enclosed space, subjecting you to my blatherings. Honestly, you don't even need to enclose me in a space. You can just be like, hey, can you come over? I need to talk. I would totally be down. It was interesting though, a night I probably won't forget. Feel free to trap me in an enclosed space whenever you like. Can you actually see that far into the future? You're a devious man, Marcus. Or you make it sound like I didn't enjoy talking to you. Again, I chose a goofy option, which is feel free to trap me in an enclosed space whenever you like. Well, I hear coffins are rather cozy. I myself had never understood the appeal. Too claustrophobic, you see. After letting out a loud sneaker, Marcus shook his head ruefully. In a different universe, I might have dragged you off to my original destination right about now. Sadly, however, it seems the devil's come for hers too. At first, I had no idea what Marcus was referring to. But when I turned around to search the street, I noticed a dark sedan slowly rolling towards us. It wasn't Charisse's car, but it looked very similar, like one of the other cars parked outside the hotel. I'll let you do the talking. This is going to be a fun car ride, isn't it? Damn it, I bet he snitched on us. I chose to pick, this is going to be a fun car ride, isn't it? My remark didn't get any response. After a few moments, I glanced back towards Marcus, curious about his silence, only to see that he had very conveniently disappeared. Ichigo! Hello. I looked back to see a familiar Scar agent stepping out of the sedan, holding the door open for me. You're Michiko, aren't you? I don't see anyone else around here. Please get inside. We're heading back to the hotel. Alright, I'm ready. How did you know I was here? Is Charisse waiting in there with a paddle? Alright, I'm ready. Thank you for cooperating. He gestured inside the car, looking slightly impatient. Earlier tonight, we received a report of some dangerous mobile activity in the area. Another agent, Heath, called to say you were close to the location, and you might be in danger while returning to the hotel. So this is how they found me, because Heath. At first I was like, how did they ever find me? And it's because Heath told them. Wait, what about Marcus? Okay, climb into the car. So I chose to go into the car because I didn't want to snitch on Marcus for like pulling me out on this crazy adventure. I don't know if that did anything, but After I crawled into the backseat, the agent nodded to his driver, who sets off towards the hotel. Compared to Marcus's roller coaster, this ride practically felt like gliding on a cloud. It was a relief that I wasn't headed back to a lecture from Charisse, even though she probably suspected Marcus to blame. As I sank back against the plush leather seat, gazing out at the night sky, several words kept reaching out from my subconsciousness. Subconscious? Circling in my mind. I see in you the potential for something great. That potential might never be realized, but it is there. Even Marcus didn't seem to fully understand what he was talking about, though he seemed convinced by it. Whatever misadventures he had planned for us next, maybe some answers would finally start rising to the surface. But I had a feeling they wouldn't really be answers at all. They're gonna be actions. If you can't say it, you usually try to do it with actions. After a difficult struggle, I managed to raise my heavy eyelids. And this is where we are going to save for today, so I can check back on this footage and pray it's not broken again. But anyway, thank you guys for watching today's episode. Stay beautiful, and I'll see you guys in the next one.